case he shows up, we'll welcome him with open arms. If not, I'd like to call this evening's meeting to order with the Town of Darien Council meeting for Monday, July 11th, 2016, and it's 6:01 p.m. As usual, we start out always with item number 1. Is there any public comment concerning any issue not on the agenda? So we want to make them comments and not big discussion, but certainly any kind of comment and slight discussion may be appropriate. Any comments like making comments? If not, we'll move on to number 2, which would be a presentation by Public Works Director Brandon Clough and Solid Waste Disposal District Manager Kelly Christensen on proposed water line to the county facility down on 3000. I was
Yep.
okay. Turn the time over. Hey, Brandon.
I'm Brandon, well, I'm Public Works. I don't know how the best way to do this is.
Well, 3 of us, it makes it easy tonight.
Okay. So we recently just built this building, and it's housing wildland fire trucks. In the building, right here in the corner, there's, this is 3000 south.
Okay.
One town.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you.
So here's our existing shops.
Now I'm more.
This building, there's a 4-inch upright water riser right here, reduced down to 3/4 inch. What we'd like to do for those purposes is connect. We have a fire hydrant here on the corner of the building. We'd like to tie into this to feed water there. And then on Kelly's end, he can explain.
Yeah, so what I'm doing here is I'm gonna put some fire protection in this building. We wanna stub off this line here, it's a 6-inch, 8-inch here. And we'll have to come over to here and then dog leg off and put like a fire hydrant here, and then just a hose bib here, which this is gonna be a parking garage, and this water will be minimal. And then it will feed a fire suppression system that hopefully I never have to use
You
again.
come around.
Yeah, I've had 2 fires in the last 3 years.
Oh.
But only one in the building and one was in the trailer out here.
Yeah.
But it's time for some protection, so my water's gonna be, it'll be minimal what I use. It must be nice to really just have.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope I have no more fires. I thought it was an April Fool's joke when they called me because it was on April Fool's. I'm like, oh, I have fallen fire.
So for about a year, we've kind of gone back and forth with a few different individuals,
Yep.
and so I myself may or may not be caught up to date with regards to where the first meter is, where yeah, we're talking about a hydrant from this point forward, and so I know Ryan and Eric may be a little more on top of maybe where some starting and stopping places are or not. And,
I believe our first meter's over in here. Yeah. And there is no meter, we plan to put a meter here, because this one ties into a dead-end fire hydrant. Right. So we put another meter that would
take care of any kind of issues that might be there.
and then his would be off of this meter.
Sorry, Eric, we are existing.
Which, like I say, hopefully this never happens. This here will be, if it spills something, you gotta squirt it for
Well, and you need fire.
that. Yeah, but it would be nice to have a fire plug there, just because. I mean, that happens, believe it or not.
Coming through the coals from the barbecue lane.
Yep.
Oops.
Yeah, and it is too. I've had garbage trucks on fire going down the road, and I just unload right in the middle of the road, and trucks away from them. We're fine.
Any questions as far as this and though versus what officially needs to be submitted with a permit or?
No, what about your well? We still have the well.
Okay, is this gonna tie into that? Is it always
It runs my building and runs this building here.
The well?
Mhm.
We did put a freeze list right here off of the well, where if he's using it, he's pulling too much water off of the well. Yeah. And it's a long run.
How are you? Yeah.
So hopefully in a few years I'll come to you and you say, you bet, you can tell me I'm not here on water, when you get more stories, right?
I think it was after the meter, I don't know that we have a concern. I think the town's biggest concern in the past has been just metering it, because we've had, we spent a lot of money tightening up the system and getting rid of leaks. And
Yeah.
there's still a fair amount of, unaccounted for water. And I suspect that a portion of it's down here. And it's not that it's a billing issue as much as just accounting. If we can account for the water, then we know if we have a leak. If we can't account for the water, then
Yeah, exactly.
is it a leak or did you guys have a fire?
Yeah.
It's not that either one's wrong, but we kind of need to know that.
Accountability, yeah, I don't blame you.
And so I think the biggest
This
issue
solves-
that I've
this
heard,
solves both
and I think
problems.
it solves it, is just, getting meters installed so that we can monitor it, and we, at the end of the month, there's hopefully no lost, no.
So this
mechanical
one's
water.
always been meter free. And like I say, we finally go ahead. This is,
How big that one?
this is a big 4-inch.
4-inch?
Yeah.
So are you gonna put another hydrant over there?
No.
Now, this one.
No, we just got this one.
This one's
It is not.
It's not.
It's not currently, but they're gonna add a meter after the fire hydrant, right?
Yeah.
4 inch, yeah.
They're just gonna tap
Probably
into
put a
this.
T right before that fire hydrant, shoot it across.
Okay.
I'm hoping that I can find a way to finish it. We've got a pipe run to here that I didn't budget for this pipe and this meter. Yeah, so it may, my portion.
Couple of rounds of fertilizer on the county ground.
At least I'm in the budget.
Volunteer.
It's always, yeah.
Do you have any other? You guys got the letter, right, that had the different requirements that we sent to Valerie?
I've got one,
You got
6
that
months
one?
ago.
Okay.
but I think you guys wanted me to come off the road and come all the way across, and I just wanted to come off here from what your letter told me. That's what it said. I think you were wanting me to come off 3,000. Yeah. See, I don't want to, yeah,
We just went off of the plan that Kip gave us, that showed you coming off of
yeah,
3,000.
right there. Yeah, that's a line off 3,000, it's already there.
Renee taking care of your
Come across and
place?
overstudy, that's right there. So that's the one.
Oh,
I
She-
don't-
I thought-
Sure.
Yeah, I thought she was
I
just
know one
gonna
issue we've got is
cut
I
it
think
and be
we're-
done.
She's
Not here, this thing is not gonna be able to pick
I
up
think
these
we
guys.
were having trouble reading that, getting that meter working and reading.
Okay.
So if we could, and amongst these improvements,
I
we
gotta
could
talk to Roger.
work together to get that reading right.
He's just worried about it.
in fact, yeah, it's definitely, it flowed, but there was no meter, and the meter was not thinking that it would flow long term.
That's why Gary will come down to see if we could drain that line properly that day.
Yeah.
And he's
He
actually,
came down and says, is there a drain? And I said, there's not.
back when, yes, he did, that was
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure there's a,
So, yeah, 'cause we had a guy lined up that would rebuild the meter and get it working, but we had to pull it out. And as soon as he loosens the bolt, that bolt fills with water, and
Yeah.
he isn't gonna finish his job.
How long does it take you to build that meter?
I think he said he needed down 2 hours.
Yeah, it's gonna take a couple
Oh,
hours.
you drain this
When we
line.
tie in right here, we can maybe arrange.
And that was the kind of back, my hearing was when everything got figured, I'll do it in a
go.
coordinated effort.
Should we go through you guys at that point? To arrange?
How much notice this evening?
I don't know if you want to just have it go through me, I'll get a hold of Ron and Gary.
Yeah, I think that's a great
As long
idea.
as we got a contact.
And as long as, I mean, I need to schedule it with our meter guy, but, we'll,
Okay. So there's gonna be a lot going on, because like he said, he's building a new shop here.
okay.
So there's gonna be a lot going on, so I'm not real sure when we're gonna do this just yet.
Here's my card. Yeah, I'm just starting my shop right now, so it'll just be, as long as we got the heads up and then we can communicate.
Yeah, it's as much notice as you can give me. I mean, even if it's, hey, I think, we're probably 2 weeks out, I don't know what day, and then,
Have you
then
got his name and phone number?
I'll get you a card.
All right.
And that way we can get, I can get him, get on the schedule for, 2 weeks, and then we can coordinate that. Perfect.
We're good.
And then worst case, I talked with Kip at one point, and mentioned,
So you've got. Awesome.
Yeah, well, we had some open stuff here, we put it in, we got it semi-closed from there.
That was wise.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do it, yeah. Put it in. Might as well.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it wouldn't be good to put a fire hydrant over back there somewhere.
I got all the tankers lined up just ready.
Yeah, there's like another building.
Tankers.
No, tankers are going there.
Tankers in
Oh,
there,
there you
so. And the distance from there is less than 250.
Is that- So is Ernie on board with the fire thing? You guys talked to Ernie?
I have a little bit,
Okay.
but I just need to get my water and then I'll get the fire
Oh,
guys on and figure out who was best people to from.
okay.
which I'll put brand.
That's what a lot of that was
Yeah.
all the stuff that the water division wanted, so. Awesome. All right.
And
Thank you.
Take it up.
thanks, guys. Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it.
Whoop, 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 sorry.
Who are you?
I'm John.
John
Florowski.
Okay. Well, to meet you.
Okay.
Any questions from the council? Any other questions for Public Works? Thank you, gentlemen.
Hey, man. Guys, have a good night. Thank you, sir.
Brian, you got a copy of that, didn't you? That letter coming out?
Yes.
Okay.
The third item on the agenda would be consideration of annexation petition on parcel near intersection of 3000 South and Highway 189, signed by Ed Roloff. We had found we were going to have some discussion on it this evening. Found out yesterday, or actually today, that there's a slight change up on the state side, so the town cannot act until 14 days. My understanding is until after you submitted what you submitted today. It would be 14 days. And then we would have, we could either call a special meeting or have our regular meeting, and so I propose we just move it on to our next regular meeting, since it's a week or two out, or would like to have a special meeting without that. So I'm actually 6 as either or, depending on what the council would like to do.
Yeah, the only thing I was thinking that UDOT had money earmarked for that intersection, and they're kind of waiting to hear.
Well, and they are, and so we either have to have a special meeting this next month, then the meeting, and then another special meeting for the public hearing, and then our regular meeting, so we'd be having those 4 meetings 2 weeks apart, just because of the time delay.
14 days.
Yeah.
I'm here on that matter. I'm here on behalf of Tyler Dow, representing Mike Peterson and Eagle Valley Properties. And he's out of the country and can't be here, so, yeah, any type of meeting that you want to have at least 2 weeks out.
What is your
Would
name?
be great. Marie Bramwell, MARIE BRAMWELL.
So from our standpoint, yeah, we have a kind of time crunch, so either way, one way we could do it is have a regular scheduled meeting next month, ask for a public hearing at that point, have a public hearing in between the next 2 meetings, and then accomplish the acceptance the following meeting, or we're close to that, then? As far as if we had our next public, had this at our next public
You
meeting,
accept or deny at the next meeting on August 8th.
then we could
If
have
you accept it, then we schedule the public hearing.
which would be 14 days
14 days after.
after.
Well, after notice.
After notice, which would be the 24th, because you're not gonna get it noticed on Wednesday, right? You're gonna vote to have the public hearing on Monday, it's not gonna hit the paper till Wednesday.
Right.
And that's if Lynn publishes it, sends it to the wave before you vote on it, and then doesn't retract it, because she's a good mind reader.
That works.
So those are the decisions for us.
We'll send you thought process.
One of the decisions before us this evening.
So are you representing Mike?
Yeah,
Okay. Is that,
at this here, at
Just
this
this-
meeting.
this meeting? Oh, come on. I know that we've done some preliminary, so, yeah, that puts us out the 8th before we get, I just don't know what UDOT's time frame is. We're getting into August, if we're gonna do anything, if they're gonna do anything late asphalt on that intersection, we're pushing late fall.
Is that something you could maybe find out, that where UDOT stands on the timing of funding for the project, if in fact, because I know there's lots of things hinging on other things, so.
I can, yeah, I might be able to find out some information at this point in time. I don't know, but I can see if I can get that information.
Do you know what I'm talking about, or with regards to, there's gonna be some matching funds he gets for realigning the intersection, and that's
So you're
what
just
we're-
wondering about the timing for making the decision because UDOT wants to act by when?
They could want to act at a certain, by
I
a certain.
believe didn't they want to build, if this project's not going forward, they wanted to build the other option this fall, right?
Correct.
Yeah, they'd already been doing it.
Yeah, so I don't,
They put the skid on when they heard about this.
so they're not gonna want to wait till the end of August.
That's what I'm thinking, the longer we push this off,
So,
is they're gonna be going, wait a minute, because,
yeah,
Yeah.
so if there is a rush, the alternative I talked about just a minute ago was to have a special meeting. We can act in 14 days, so have a special meeting in 14 days and then another special meeting for the public hearing. but that means you guys have to have 2 special meetings.
Or could we mix the second public hearing in with the planning meeting?
Yes? Yeah, we can hold them jointly.
So then okay. So maybe we could have the public hearing for that issue on the same evening that we've already got scheduled for planning.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what we want to do with almost all of our public hearings, is hold them together, then everybody doesn't have to come out twice.
That sounds,
Those pitchforks are gonna be hard to bring, right?
More than once.
They're all on vacation.
You can bring them once, it's the second time.
so with regards to that agenda item, I mean, we're not gonna make a decision as much as, do we wanna call and set up a special meeting tonight, or have Lynn look to see if we have this, get this room any particular night, or
You thinking 14 days from today?
Well, so all I did, I ran both extremes, right? Just the engineer and me. So 14 days from today is the 25th. And then 14 days after that is the 15th. Would be the fastest we could act, except that the newspaper doesn't publish on time, so you gotta throw an extra week in there to actually get things noticed.
Yeah.
so is it worth doing the mad rush over a week or so?
And so if you add a week to the 15th, you're 2 days away from the planning meeting anyway. So if we wanna go,
Isn't the planning meeting on the
17th?
17th?
17th.
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying, is if we go as fast as we can, we're on the 15th, so we're 2 days away from the planning.
So we'll shoot for that. If we have a special meeting, we can hit the planning meeting for the,
By 2 days.
that's the fastest we can get it done, so. Being statute.
And it really is, because the paper doesn't publish till Wednesday. So, I mean, we can vote to have a public hearing, but the notice won't go out till Wednesday anyway, so yes, that's about the fastest we can do the way we read the statute tonight.
So what if we put it in the Salt Lake Tribune?
We put it on the state website.
Doesn't do it.
So I guess, do we want to give Charleston something else to go? I mean, we know the protestants are coming out, so
Yeah.
I'd say go as fast as we can, but dot every I and every T, so we don't have to start over.
So the chair will entertain a motion for a special meeting, 14 days from now, if it can be scheduled. Sorry, I didn't think Charleston.
That would be, so what are we looking at, 25th?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
What day is that? What day is that?
That's a Monday.
Oh,
That's 2 weeks from today.
It's a terrible day. After the whole, that's actually when they're celebrating the 24th, isn't it?
Probably.
yeah, it is. How about Tuesday, the 26th?
Yeah, that'd be better, I think.
If you do it on that day, would more people show up or less?
Less people.
Thank people show up. Is that something we could maybe try to get the room for? Or would you-
Sure, I can check with them tomorrow.
And is there an alternative that we could still have that? I mean, is that something that we need to have that meeting, if this was booked, could we maybe look for the upstairs of the Senior Citizen Center sometimes, or would we need to keep it around this meeting?
No, we can move it, as long as we notice it, that it's being moved. But I think if you go 26th, 27th, just hit it right as soon as we can get in.
Okay, that's fine.
Otherwise, we'll just,
Yeah.
I think that'll work, and then we'll just move to the planning meeting on the 17th for our other.
So Chair, is there a motion just to schedule a public hearing,
Special meeting.
special meeting, I'm sorry?
So moved.
First,
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Special meeting on the 26th.
26th, 27th, somewhere in there.
When will we know?
We won't know
It
it.
will be posted and,
Because we borrow this room, we have to check the schedule, so.
So it'll be July 26th or 27th at 6 PM, either in this room or the Senior Citizen Center.
Yes, and it will get posted, and I'm sure Mike could call one of us and make sure he knows.
Actually, he's been on our website a lot, so.
You know, he has my number.
Adoption of resolution DR 2160606-A as approved on June 2015-16 budget amendments. We'll just read that, and then we will have that, read our signatures behind it. So the first one would be, once again, 2606A. Any questions before I read it? Okay. Municipal resolution number DR 216-06-06A, dated June 6, 2016, effective date June 6, 2016, short title. Resolution approving amendments to the Danieltown general budget, water enterprise budget, and Stormhaven water enterprise budget for fiscal year 2015-16. The purpose of this resolution is to approve and adopt the proposed amended budgets presented in the public hearing held June 6, 2016, to accommodate changes to the adopted revenue and/or expenses. The resolution, whereas the legislative body of the town of Daniel, a political subdivision of the state of Utah, having reviewed, considered, and adopted a budget prepared by the budget office of the town of Daniel, having held a public hearing for public comment prior to the final budget adoption, and having adopted the budget, to hereby wish to amend the adopted budgets for fiscal year 2015 and 16. The public hearing was reportedly noticed and public comment solicited and considered. Be it resolved, accepted, and approved by the governing legislative body of the town of Daniel, that the town of Daniel, a political subdivision of the state of Utah, hereby adopts the amended budgets for the fiscal year July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2016. A copy of the amended budget is attached. So we've already voted on that. We've already approved it, so we just need the signatures. And if you remember when we voted last time, I think we were all yay. Would you like me to wait, or would you like me to move on to the next resolution?
Keep on.
Okay. That was item number 4. Now item number 5 is adoption of resolution, which we also approved last month, which would be DR 216-06-06B, as approved in June. And I'll read that. Sorry to be repetitive, but it is very repetitive. June 6th, municipal resolution number DR 216-06-06B. Effective date, June 6, 2016. Short title, resolution approving Daniel Town Council operations budget, water enterprise budget, and Stormhaven water enterprise budget for fiscal year 2016-2017. Purpose, the purpose of this resolution is to approve and adopt the proposed budgets presented in the public hearing June 6, 2016. The resolution, whereas the legislative body of the town of Daniel, a public subdivision of the state of Utah, having reviewed, considered, and adopted budgets prepared by the budget office of the town of Daniel, has held a public hearing for public comment prior to the final budget adoption. The tentative budgets were available for public inspection, and the public hearing was properly noticed and public comment solicited and considered. Be it resolved, accepted, and approved by the governing legislative body of the town of Daniel, that the town of Daniel, a political subdivision of the state of Utah, hereby adopts these budgets for the fiscal year July 1, 2016 through June 30th, 2017. A copy of the budgets are attached. Does everyone get a chance to see on item number 6? Item number 6, approval of the certified tax rate for property tax fiscal year 2016-2017. That thing, we want to have and the resolution would be DR 2016-07-11. And I'll just read it. It's a little bit different format, but County of Wasatch is hereby resolved that the governing body of the Daniel Town approves the following property tax rate and revenues for year 2016. Fund budget type general operations, revenue 40,000, tax rate .000695. Total tax 40,000, total tax rate .000695. This resolution is adopted after proper notice and hearing in accordance with the UCA 59-2-919 and shall be reported to the county auditor and the tax commission in accordance with UCA 59-2-913 and 29-2-920. So, we also approved that and just need signatures. Item number 7, we have until January to sign up for it. It's definitely worth reading. Maybe not worth a full discussion since we're missing a few members this evening, council members this evening.
Chip, can I interrupt you just for a second?
Absolutely.
The last resolution is a new one, and so you probably should vote on it if you accept.
The tax rate,
Yes.
they finally gave us notice of what it is, yeah, we haven't heard that before.
Okay, so
It's the
It's
same,
figured by the county.
Okay.
They tell me
they give us that.
So we just want to, just have a vote and accept it
that you
and,
do accept
okay.
it.
We know what the dollar amount is, we just don't know what the rate is, that's how we get to the dollar amount, so that's what's new.
So that, before we pass on it then, the chair will entertain a motion to accept the tax rate as specified.
So moved.
Moved,
Second.
a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
What if you didn't vote on that, what would happen?
Tax rate
It
approved.
goes into effect anyway, I'm sure, but just trying to get the record
Yeah.
straight.
Just thought I'd throw that out there, what happens if you do like what they told us?
So the state has come to all municipalities and in the past they've done some of this work and now they're just tightening things in a good way really. They're making the municipalities by December 31st, either join or not join this particular program, there you go. And so there's a cost to it, but they really don't want cash from the town. They want work. So there's wildfire prevention, there's wildfire mitigation, there's wildfire preparedness, all of those things, and there's a whole list of things. And I'm sorry I don't have copies for all of the residents, because all the residents really probably ought to see this for anyone that lives from Little Sweden all the way up to the canyon, because we get credits for any kind of yard cleanup and fire prevention. So that's all they're really kind of wanting us to do. The fact of the matter is as I understand it, if the state were to get called in from the county, so the county's got a big fire, they need the state, that pinpoint where that fire starts, that municipality is going to get charged on the state level. If we're not a member, if you're a member, they take care of it. They just want us to take care of this. So it's kind of one of those, you don't have to, but the stick's a little bit bigger than the other. But it is something I would like to discuss a little further, but maybe tonight's not the best night to go through it all.
So we don't have our own airplane drop.
No, what happened up Daniels County a few years ago would have been a real big problem as the new law starting to take in January. So that's some good for that. But.
Well, this is the program that I told you about, the legislature was messing with early in April. so-
Yes, you were.
And so I told you that was coming down the pike, and this is what ended up with that, so we'll give it to the Division of Natural Resources to push.
And I think, Lynn, if you haven't got this on the webpage, do you?
No.
So we could get this for everybody just to read, and then also just pass it to neighbors, and it's a good thing to,
Probably ought to put it on our website.
that's what I was just saying.
Oh, okay.
Just so everyone can,
What happens if we have a fire before this, before we sign up
so we into the same
stuff?
scenarios that we were, but January definitely kind of changes.
January changes, okay.
So we have help for them to commit, and anything we do this year that would fall under these guidelines will give us credit toward next year's bulk payment. But I would like to.
I had a bunch of questions on it, because I just,
What
you
is
know,
the banking holders gonna do?
Well, and Troy said that he and they would love to come and discuss any of those questions because.
are they the ones that decide what project qualifies and what doesn't?
No,
We still don't know who that is.
that's the state.
The state decides
The
that.
state, as far as I understand, that 100% of this came from the state. As far as, now they might have their groups meet, but then, yeah, there's what the state spit out.
Well, see, and that's what I'm scared about. We go do a bunch of work, and then they say it's not approved. You know, what we decided was in the list we thought, because they have to, they have to man this thing. That's a lot of inspections of what project is good, which one's not.
I agree. I'd like to just have him come and spend 10 minutes and educate us.
That'd be good. It's a good
If
idea.
we'll put that on the agenda, then I'll make contact with them for next month.
And who is the
It would
individual?
be Troy, come on, coming out here. I'll think of his name, but I'm not trying to think of it. It's,
Okay.
From our county.
yeah, it's,
Okay.
oh, you know, you'll sort,
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
anyway, well,
They could
I'll get
come.
you his name and his number.
If they understand that program, it'd be good to get somebody to explain that.
Well, he seemed to understand it fairly well, but made it very vague, that, like, there's a lot of things that count, it's not that big a deal, he did. But sometimes that may be a big deal for those who don't read the fine print.
That's what they told me when I took this job. Not a big deal.
I'm gonna get you his name right now, and I just can't believe I found
Well, I have another client that's getting state fund,
Troy
matching
Morgan.
funds to do that remediation, or remediation, and they're accepting all sorts of stuff they're doing. I mean, anything that, I don't think the intent is a microscope on this counts and that doesn't. It's, you know, if you're doing stuff to reduce the wildfire hazard, they're gonna count, you know.
Do you think that'd be?
So these guys have been doing it for the past few years to try to, you know, get credits for, they're getting compensated, so it's, they, 50/50 or something, so they're getting money back.
Mm-hmm.
But the state's been pretty liberal with if you're reducing fire risk, then they're all for it.
Then they're all for it, okay.
And so they haven't been down to, well, that tree didn't really pose a risk, but this one did. It was more of a, you got down a dead tree, good job.
Yeah, because there was a lot of this stuff, there's a 25% max. And so if you focused on that section, you would max out before, you couldn't get all your fund in.
Right.
And I just noticed this one's a 50% minimum,
minimum.
so we could actually do all in kind.
And there's grinding, I mean, and they still have their grinder available, they still have that, so when I was kinda told earlier in the afternoon that it probably, the whole situation probably get taken care of with the X amount of guys in an afternoon.
Really?
Using their grinder, maybe a tractor pull stuff into shed it, but.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. We saw what happened up there last time.
I also looked at the cost per year and compare it to if we have one incident.
Yes,
And you could, never mind the in kind, you could pay that cash for a lot of years and that would be cheap insurance.
yeah, it may be easier for us to just pay it than try and get the in kind.
Well, and that came up, and he said, you know, we really don't want the money, but they do want a little bit of a log, and who did what when, so they do want accountability, which is kind of the bigger headache, yeah, for sure. Okay, we've discussed item number 7. Business license applicants, so I'll turn it over to you, Eric.
Okay, we do have some licenses. We've got Pat Newhouse is back and she's applied for a license.
What's your business?
She sells dresses online.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
She's
then,
been with us for quite a few years, hasn't she?
well, she had nails, she had nails, she do a nail salon there before. So she had a license and they left state and now they're back. So this is Suburban Propane. They called and wanted to know if they really needed a license.
Yes, I do.
You said yes.
They don't, if they don't want to do business here. Daniels Creek, the check passed in the mail, so we actually have 2 checks. There's one inside the application also, so we need to send one back.
Who's that?
Daniel Creek, Hugh Barker.
Oh, you, okay.
And then Daniel Academy,
Just keeping everything the same.
yeah, they,
Good, good.
I mean, last we heard they were moving, but they applied for their license to renew, so.
Does anybody know anything about the well that they had done or was going to do or?
I know nothing about the well. They were trying to upgrade that, wasn't they, for the increase?
My impression that they were going to do well. And then to increase for all the reasons.
Yeah, yeah, and it just didn't. When we didn't pass that, I think they went in another direction, so.
You're right.
Put that on the list to water.
To look for the culinary water.
Yeah, they looked at that. We thought we had a participant in DNR, but they didn't have the funding. They was gonna run up to the gun club.
They called the other day, they might still be trying.
I'm sure they are. I mean, the fire starts there every year.
Yes, it does.
It does, yeah.
Wow.
And the county ends up going up there with their caterpillars and without a permit, cutting the hillside. They catch flack for it, so.
Okay, that was business licenses. Anything else before I always seem to kind of rush sometimes and don't.
That's all right.
Okay. Planning Department report, code violations and enforcement.
Okay.
Well,
Here we go. Not tonight, he's in a hurry. That one's mine. Make sure Lane gets one of those. Okay, any questions? All right, moving right along. This is the letter we sent out to Dan Matthews requesting a lot of record certificate from the town. You probably do have a copy of that. I emailed you that, right, Ryan?
Yeah,
You need a paper copy or you good?
I'm good.
And before, has anything moved on that at all? No, okay.
I have not heard from him since the letter went out.
Me neither.
So I did issue the demo permit as we
Did you?
discussed.
Okay.
So I got him a copy of that this morning.
So they did apply for that and that's,
They applied and we approved it, and they can demo it with conditions that they restore the ground and remove the foundation and don't move debris on site. And then they're gonna do it in anticipation of Eric's letter coming. And after reading Eric's letter, I don't know that they want the demo permit, or I don't know if they still want it or not, but they've got it.
right, okay.
Well, they wanted a letter, they got the letter, just didn't say what they wanted it to say, I think. But there just wasn't enough evidence for me to make that determination based on what they gave me. There was a septic approval, there was not a lot of record. There was no survey, there was no title, date, so. They had a slight opinion from the county, I thought, that fell short of given, which is one of the criteria that the county would have said. It's a lot of record, that's one of the criteria.
Well, it seems to me, a subdivision, a plot map of when it was subdivided, the date, would go a long way to,
Would have,
if they find that, then we can look to see what the code was, and that would be fairly definitive and fairly easy to uncover.
Well, and I'd mention it, they just, that plot would just solve most everything as long as, I mean, we've looked at a lot of different certain scenarios, but that would not necessarily solve, but certainly help clarify, at least if you can see a plot map of some sort, but there's not even that as far as I understand. We
Yeah.
haven't seen that yet. Let's put it
yeah,
that
he
way.
says it doesn't exist, Dan,
Oh.
so I don't know how that ever came to be, but out of the paperwork they gave me, I just came to that conclusion.
Okay.
Any other questions on? The complaint concerns are there at the bottom. You did follow I didn't put this on your report, but you are following the 362 House bill of the funding that's off the gas tax, it's not doing what they thought it would. They're having emergency meetings trying to fix it, but
I am not following that, so just a quick education.
what they did is when they put in that 362, the rural cities ended up not getting that tax back in those counties that adopted that, and so.
And our county did, didn't they?
You know, I don't think our county did.
So some places in our county did, but our county didn't as general, wasn't it? We were signing underneath them, but they were.
Yeah, the county's the one that has to adopt it.
Right.
And then we were supposed to tell them how we felt about it before. So, but it turns out that they didn't follow through on how the actual money in the ground hit, so there's some issues with that. So they're holding a special session next week, I believe.
And they do list the figures of what they expect each city to get. Some are less than what they anticipated because of that miscommunication, but Daniel is actually getting a little more than we got last year, so according to their estimates.
So Eric, on the school inspection report, that's something that they either sent you or you've been up and said hello to them, or what? Okay.
Yeah, they're required to make those available to us,
Okay,
and so they'll just send that over in email form.
okay,
I just put it in their file. We don't have the ability to enforce any inspection.
they just
It's
offered
just
it
a
to-
courtesy,
Right. Okay.
so.
The Highway 40 we know is, yeah, that got canceled today. Airport requires 700-foot runway to upgrade.
What's that?
Where did you get that, and where'd that come from, or how'd that?
What's
come-
that, the airport?
The 7,000 feet runway.
Oh, that's if they upgrade, that's what it'll have to be to go to the next classification.
What is it now?
They remember they shot that down, they passed a resolution,
Yep.
and then in the next meeting, they accepted funding. So, they're basically, they're on the hook.
I don't know how that alluded so many, so they accepted funding for, isn't that just for the study though, but not for the expansion or for the upgrade?
It's part of the upgrade. Talking to Ron, he thinks they're hooked, line and sinker, so. They passed a resolution not to upgrade, and then they took the funding, so I think they might have blown that.
I was told, at one time that, each municipality had a little resolution, and then I was told. So,
As in was the county meeting we went to.
right.
I mean, it was just
All
like,
evening.
that's why I said, what are you doing with this information? All right.
What is the existing runway now?
They did an overlay on the map, and although they say it doesn't expand, it shifts and goes down quite a bit. They kept saying it didn't expand, but the overlay on the map was extremely bigger, so.
And then,
Sounds like most were
These-
covered.
I think it would affect the county quite a bit, the way that they have it laid out in the county complex.
and I've heard quite a bit.
Yeah, so, I
Wow,
don't know.
that affected that intersection too, huh?
Yes, good do,
Okay.
yep, because they'll run the clear zone, so.
We'd like to get it in before they have to worry about it, because then that means more money.
And then the letter to the Wasatch Mobile Home,
Okay,
I'm waiting on dates from you regarding contact. So that's in progress.
okay. And then I think some folks here, as far as the water line on Ranch Drive, we've heard a few of the concerns. I know you guys have talked. Is there any other thing that maybe didn't get answered that you had some concerns about? that-
Yes, we had a question, the homeowners association did, about if we're gonna have our road resurfaced this year, because it is starting to cave in where that big equipment is, in some spots up to like 5-6 inches.
So what we're doing now is just a chip seal, so if the road, if we've got collapsing, that's not the right,
I mean, they could help it.
that's
but
not
it's-
that's not who we want, anyway, that's not what we want doing.
Okay, but
So I'll look at it, if it's collapse is a byproduct of construction, then they'll need to fix it.
okay,
I was pleasantly surprised to see how much road base was underneath that asphalt when I went out and saw it.
How thick, just curious?
And yet the road's still falling apart.
Yeah, about 8 inches.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, I was surprised there was that much under there, so.
When they dug up T-Income, or went up T-Income from Ranch, I saw the hole too, and they found an old cement culvert in there that nobody knew about.
crawl in and see if anything's in it?
Well, they said it was capped off on each end, which I don't know how they know that.
Yeah.
Maybe you could educate me on that, and I said,
It's dirt
yeah,
on
and
dirt.
it was big, I mean, it was,
Huh.
they didn't know what it
That's a
was.
big line.
Yeah, so they had to shorten their water line a little bit to fit it in that little corner there, but I assume, but they, yeah, guess we'll see how
Which
that
will work
works.
great till we tie into it.
So,
Yeah.
so as far as the town's concerned, we've heard a few things, they've straightened out, they've kind of, a little bit later, taken care of a few things, so far so good as far as what kind of was expected with regards to some of the stuff going on.
Well, like tonight, where they're at, if I need to get my horse trailer out in an emergency, there's no way I could get my horse trailer out of my driveway. Because the way they have to put dirt pile clear up in front.
yeah, it's like, it's barely can pass a pickup.
Barely, yeah.
Barely.
So that was a little unfortunate.
Does that seem like it might be there for a while, or do they seem like they're wrapping up?
It's there over the weekend, but it's a little closer today.
Right, right.
They're getting
We
close to
could've
that
got-
thrust block, so.
They're gonna have to excavate
They're gonna
that
have
whole
to
thing.
excavate.
They're working on that.
It-
fire hydrant there. They
Yeah.
were really banging on that thing today, trying to fix that old
So-
one. I don't know.
When they get to the old pipe there, they have to, that transition, they have to open that hole up bigger to get that tie in.
That's where they're at, I think.
Yeah.
Eric. Now,
Because I talked to
Few
them
more
Friday
days,
and they
yeah.
were like, we're not gonna touch that till Monday.
And they didn't touch it till about noon. They were all kind of, sitting
They had
around.
the jumper, the one half the house that's connected to our system, they had the jumper, and that took them till about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, they was gonna do that Friday in Heber City, wouldn't give them a meter, and I says, if the meter's a problem, we got a meter, and he's like, no, it has to be Heber City's meter. I says, oh, because they lease it to the contractor,
Right,
so.
yeah. So anyway, round and round, it's not Heber City's meter, but they figured it out this morning.
Did they?
And not jumpering the guy over, a house over the whole weekend seems like a really good idea to me.
Yeah, that's what I was like, perfect. Here we are Friday afternoon.
That's what I told them when they called and said,
Oh, blows
we're
up.
gonna, it's Friday at 3, we're gonna start jumpering him for the weekend. I'm like, really? You're gonna let him be on the jumper all weekend so you can work for 1 more hour?
Yeah.
And then they called back and said, no, we'll do it Monday.
I
Good
figured,
choice.
I figured he was within 10 feet of that thrust block then,
Mhm.
when I stopped, and I'm just like, I just let that sit for, so they were gonna jump back and run across to Teaneck at that point.
Would they be going all the way to 3,000 south?
Yes.
Yes,
So they're gonna dig up the old culinary pipe and put
Yes.
new in?
Yes.
Why is that?
bigger.
Big.
Changing the diameter.
Because the guys today said, oh, no, we're not doing that. And the guys the other day said, oh, yeah,
Combination of
we're doing
six
that. So who knows what's
Depends on who
going
you talk to.
They don't know what
Yeah.
Now, will that side, will it be going back to its original form, or is the rocks all just gonna be there all the way down?
No, then you gotta clean that up.
Because they've got a lot of cleanup.
Yes, they do.
On another note about the road collapsing, we have seen 3 great big huge equipment go down and go through the school. So
Regularly, once in a while, 3 this week, 3.
it's been the last month, and then they've opened up the whole fence and
Very
it's
good.
been, yeah.
Well, you can walk in the end.
Yeah,
My old Pepe's lot that's not locked or anything. I don't know if it's open enough. You can get the whole equipment in there.
I mean, is there a gap in that, in the fence?
Oh,
though?
yeah.
Other than-
The
There
way
was
they've
on
got-
Friday.
Yeah, the way they've got the fence though, you can open up a gap and put it back pretty fast.
Anywhere, yeah, yeah.
And then they have a gate down towards the end of the cul-de-sac that would be really easy, like a farm gate that they could open and bring stuff in, but it's not very wide.
Yeah, but it's still about
It's
12
still-
feet wide. Yeah, they could get anything in, there's nothing on the road. that's
Francis
over
told
8
me
feet
they were
wide.
working on the bid to get the permanent fencing installed, so.
That will be good,
That's what
because
they're
it's
trying
not
to get.
all of our contractors roading the road, I mean, it's most of it, but it is some of the schools going down there still.
Oh, maybe we wanna let this, maybe we wanna let them continue a
Well,
little
who
more.
do you
and
let
finish the
know at
job.
the school? Who do
That
we
that might
call?
be a little deeper, and it might make him a nice road.
But just so you know, so.
So there may be merit in letting them continue for a little while longer and get some nice big roots in there.
Okay, Eric, I think we can finish up there at the Waterline Ranch Drive and under your planning department report and code violations.
Okay.
Anything else that,
I just had this, they offer an insurance for leaks in your water line.
like as in a municipal or individual
Yes,
or?
both.
Okay.
So it's kind of an insurance that they offering from rural water. You can buy in. And so individuals can buy that up to their houses if they have a leak. It's kind of an insurance that takes care of that. We have a pretty new system, so
Is it worth something to maybe put on just our page, our webpage to, if someone wanted to utilize it or not? And-
well, I think the municipality has to sign
Sign up
up
first,
and
and then
then
they can-
they're
okay, right,
eligible to
okay.
hook in, so.
What's the,
I kind of thought it wasn't as new as our system was. I was thinking, well, you know, we don't run, and then I thought, well, let the council decide. Because maybe there is interest in that.
what kind of money we're talking? Stormhaven,
Storm Haven,
not exactly new.
no,
Yeah, that's of course what flashed through my mind is
Well, and then a lot of the laterals aren't old, and we replaced our portion, but there's a lot of older homes with old laterals that,
so there might be merit in
So,
looking
so,
at
you know,
that.
there could be somebody, it would be interesting to see what the cost is or how it's implemented. I'm sure if it's from the government, it's probably too many pages to read that you wouldn't want to sign up anyway, but, you
Don't
got that?
finish.
I was just gonna say, Lynn, if maybe we could pass this on, and if it's, take a quick look, if someone wants to go and look and read about it, they could do it. I guess spend some time looking at it, but it's probably be up to individuals to have to see if it's worth the town even joining or doing. That's something we want to put out there, just read about it
Well, if
first.
the municipality has to sign up for it first, I don't know what good it would do to give it to the individuals.
I guess,
Unless you just want,
my line of thinking is if a lot of folks saw it being a very good service to them, then it may be for the town, but if, you know, I don't know this with you, so. I'll study it, I guess we can talk about it again. So, okay.
My question to the
you
council
got,
is again around the water line, it's just one, with the school, the signage, I don't see the signage back on here. We talked about postponing that to the agenda, the signage on Ranch Drive, possible signage on Ranch
And it did
Drive.
come up to see if we wanted on the agenda tonight, and we
Okay.
figured tell the road, we wanted to just get the road, they're gonna come back and do laterals after they do this main, the main stretch, you asked me that.
So they are gonna do that.
Is that correct, right, at a different
Yeah,
date, so?
it's in their contract, they've chosen to just blow and go and get the water line in, and they've forgotten to clean up, and they've forgotten a lot of stuff that they've gotta go back and do.
So the laterals are included.
Among them is the laterals that they're going to do, and their plan says they're gonna get the water line on and charged, and then go back and get all those in.
Okay.
And that's in their bid, that's kinda up to them, that didn't seem quite the same way we do it, but that's the way they decided to do it. So signage, we'll wait till all that's said and done, and then find the right sign that's appropriate and look at it.
Yeah, they-
Thank you.
What happened was that when they got started, they found some irrigation lines that they didn't know about, and it just threw them all off, so they
Yeah,
don't.
so the
So
school
they just took
contractor
off
will be
trying to
your-
find everything, which they found a few that they didn't know about. But,
We told them not until we got a bunch of paperwork done, but the paperwork's done, so I think they just need to apply for the excavation permit.
Okay.
Thank you.
You probably want the irrigation water more than culinary.
More valuable at this moment.
Discussion of Daniel Irrigation Company easement agreement and possible staging area for construction.
I seen that letter from our attorney, man.
It did come through.
I thought we had that hammered out.
Well, I thought we did too, and apparently they wanted it to come through the channel to basically say what we meant on site said, is, yeah, we can share it and do it. And then I went through this part of it today, as far as the, well, the agreement, and, did you see anything different or not?
I didn't, I just saw the letter from our attorney, I didn't see the agreement.
That, and then maybe, we just, and then here's the easement that I actually did not spend much time on, just because there's so many of the ordinances on it that
Yeah, I know, I'm typing them.
I. Exactly, well, that's why it's in your hand. But, I was told verbally, and they said, everything should have been fine, so Monday last week, came in and said, yeah, what we agreed upon should be in paperwork, then that letter showed up on a third day or whatever
Yeah.
it came through, and that's kind of where it stands. I didn't call, and I didn't ask them to get the letter, I think they just,
Just
I
send it.
think Dan wanted to send it to the proper channel so they can spend more time on it, I guess, I don't know, but I'm sure we'll get a little letter from you off of it, but at least we didn't have to spend time generating the letter.
Yeah. So this looks like it's all the same as what we had. So this looks like exactly like what we gave them.
Well, the only thing that I read through that I thought was different was the agreement, I mean, the verbiage as far as the staging and the
Oh.
sharing of that, so that, the easement still.
This part looks okay, but you think this is different?
No, I think that's what we wanted to say, and I think it's probably somewhat close to not what we want, so we can go ahead and move forward or sign it and move forward.
Okay.
But I wanted more than myself to read it, decided I didn't want to send it down to council.
Right, we're just gonna sign it, send it back?
Yeah,
to
just
them.
if you chew on it and read it close enough, and I read it twice, and I don't trust myself. It sounded good so far, but,
The only thing that scared me about going so late in the year was what are they gonna do if that's a mud hole and we start getting soil movement?
well, they say they're gonna push into November with it.
Yeah, we're into November, and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
If we get some weather, we have soil movement.
On top of that staging there, on
You're
top of
right,
that
headed
hill.
right for homes.
And that, would that, could they do damage or just paying the buck for them?
depends on how far it went.
To me, it's that early spring when the ground's saturated from snow runoff and they put the canal in. That's when we're most likely to have movement. In the fall, I don't think we can get enough rain to be, I mean, anything's possible. But the fall worries me a lot less than that April, you know, like into April, early May, right, when they run water in it and that whole hillside's just seeping water. That's when it scares me. By the time, you know, this time of year, it's kind of tightened up, the canal started to dry up, but I think the risk is a lot lower now than if we do it this spring.
Good verbiage.
And so this isn't the one they want us to sign.
This is.
This doesn't say Daniel at all, this is all county.
If it's not that one, I got one right here that,
Because this is all county.
Because the one you sent out, or at least the one I got in my email, they turned the page and it was the county this and the county that, and
Yeah, it's
that came
all-
from Doug handed my head this morning.
Okay. I was gonna say, that doesn't give us anything, because that's all county. Use of town property. Okay, so,
Maybe that got, I don't know how that got in the stack, but that is county.
Did you print the wrong one for the
Um,
years different than this?
Well, this is,
Oh, that's the staging one.
that came from, but the stage is on our
Right.
ground as well, but.
Okay.
yeah, it looks okay to me. It's mirrored what they did with the county. So we have the ability to go in and inspect and keep everything.
So I read that, and I also read the share part, and those two are the key in my mind as far as, I know there might be some other details, but in my mind, those are the two that we were kind of wanting to make sure we got cleared up.
Yeah, and that one, that definitely shows in this, right? Non-exclusive easement. So this is the one that will actually be recorded. So it's a non-exclusive
And
easement.
was that in that folder, did you pull that out of that folder? Was that?
No, that's the one you handed me.
Okay, so there should be another one, a copy of that in there.
Okay. Yeah, non-exclusive. And they still have the 25 feet on the uphill side and 10 feet now.
for the permanent.
For the permit? No, that's for the,
Permanent or permit?
For the permanent easement. So we have a construction easement that's really wide, they can go pretty much do whatever they want, but then the numbers Eric was quoting, I believe, are for the,
Fixed.
yeah, the forever easement.
yes. The construction easement is 50 feet wide, 25 feet on each side.
Okay?
And so,
It says that then we let them use the property for construction, which pretty much,
yeah, let them go where they need to go.
whatever.
But then that does expire on completion of the project. So then they're back to what we thought.
What we agreed, what we talked about first.
So this one's county. I'll put your thing back on.
Okay, so, is that something, is there a motion to sign the agreement as far as that goes, to agree upon?
Yeah, when we met on site, everything's in there that we talked about.
Okay,
So-
I'll move forward on it.
Make a
then. Sign it.
motion that we sign this agreement on the Daniel Irrigation Pipeline Construction.
She'll take that motion, second?
Yep.
Got a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. We'll move forward on the, easement there, great.
Okay, just before we move on to that next one, I gotta back up, Joe.
Okay,
I'm reading this thing that Lynn gave me, and I, for some reason, I can't get to the 14 days. I think if we go 14 days, you've accepted that petition.
So if we don't act in 14 days, our next scheduled meeting? Because I will say, that's different than what I remember the last time we did this, but it's been a long time, and I know they've changed the law at least twice. So,
If they fail to act or deny, it is considered accepted.
What the construction?
And that's the way I read the other paper also, from the League of Cities and Towns.
Okay, so A above it.
So help me get there.
So in the case of a city of first or second class, which you're not,